Back with another live stream, back with another market update. Let me get the chat out real quick. Back with another live stream, back with another market update. As we could see, make sure everything's doing good here. Are we good here? Let's see. Okay, we're good. So Bitcoin right now sitting at $71,000, Ethereum 2,165. We're in a good spot here, guys. Like I said, so these are the overall takes from what I see on my timeline and where people are expecting the markets to go. I'm not the best analyst. I only know basic TA like falling wedges, inverse head and shoulders, you know, some of the patterns that everyone should know, right? Double tops, double bottoms, etc., right? So what I'm seeing the most is that we're going to see a move to potentially 75 to 80K per Bitcoin. And then that's where we're going to see a decision be made. Are the bulls going to be in control and push us from 80K to 90K to 100K, or will we get rejected at 80K and then see that final crash this year for 50K, maybe even 45K, anywhere in that range Bitcoin, right? Maybe we bottom at 55K, 60K, or again, the lowest I think Bitcoin will go to is 45K. And I think that's the lowest. I don't think we're gonna drop below 45K, but it's left to be seen where that, you know, it's left to be seen how it plays out, because obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I won't know, right? So I'm just playing it by ear. I'm playing it day to day here. Again, these are the worst market conditions I've personally ever traded, in my opinion. I was here in the 2022 bear market, and this feels much worse, right? And Bitcoin is way higher than it was in 2022, yet the overall market just feels terrible for on-chain. Majors, there's some majors that are doing pretty well, you know, Tau, Hyperliquid, etc. There's some major coins in the majors that are doing okay, right? You know, XRP holding up extremely well. So there's some majors that are doing well, but I'm talking like lower caps or on-chain projects, you know, projects that could help people that have smaller portfolios, right? Obviously, nothing's wrong with investing in majors, even if you have $1,000, $2,000 in the market. But if you want to, you know, work your way up, I think you start with, you know, maybe lower caps, projects under 50 mil market cap, under 10 mil market cap, I'll be honest, and then work your way up. Because guess what? If you're able to take your smaller portfolio, you make 10 to 30K on smaller, more undervalued projects, then all of a sudden you have 10 to 30K to invest in majors, right? Then you could toss, you know, then you have 10 to 30K to invest in, you know, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, you know, Hyperliquid, Chainlink, XLM, you know, etc., right? Uniswap, you name it. So that's how, you know, I think you should approach the market if you have a smaller portfolio. But obviously, even with a smaller portfolio, you should always have some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, you know, some XRP, BNB for sure, right? Just always have some exposure to majors to protect your investments. But to really jumpstart your portfolio, I think you're gonna have to trade smaller market cap projects, undervalued projects. I'm not talking micro caps. I'm not talking projects under $1 million, under 2 to 3 million. I'm talking projects above, like in the 10 to 50 mil market cap range that can maintain volume. And of course, projects that are, you know, under $1 billion market cap that could also still 10x, you know, 200 mil market cap as well, that could still 10x, 20x, 30x, you know. So for example, you see XCN here, for example. XCN is sitting at a 200 mil market cap. You could see a 10x, 20x, 30x out of XCN, right? That is very possible here. See, it's having a bounce right now. 2 zeros, 5187. Nice bounce on XCN right now. Awesome to see. So these are the projects for smaller portfolios. If you have a smaller portfolio, nothing's wrong with having like a how should I say this? You should have a diversified portfolio and you invest by percentages. So for example, 50% could be in majors and the other 50% is diversified into undervalued projects like a XCN, right? Because 200 mil market cap XCN, you have 100,000 XCN, you see a 5 cent to 10 cent XCN. Now you have $5,000 to $10,000 and you could reinvest that 5K to 10K into Ethereum, into Bitcoin, into hyperliquid, you know, bigger market cap projects, right? BitTensor Tau, a lot of people are bullish on Tau, etc., right? And same thing with ZBCN, you know, ZBCN having a nice bounce here as well too. Wow, look at that, having a nice bounce here. So up 8% in the past 24 hours, 202479. So this is what I'm saying. ZBCN potential targets 10 cents, 20 cents. Maybe on a long enough time horizon, you see $1 per ZBCN. Same thing with XCN, right? And obviously, again, you take some profits, and then with those profits that you take, you could compound those gains in more undervalued projects or in majors like Bitcoin, right? And then obviously keep some of those profits in these said projects like XCN, ZBCN. You keep some of the profits in. Say, for example, you're up 10x on ZBCN, you have 100,000 tokens, right? You could take 30% profits, 50% profits, and then the other 50% you just hold for the long term, right? Same thing with projects like XPR, right? XPR as well, doing pretty okay here, you know, consolidating here, but still doing pretty okay. QNT as well, right? QNT sitting at $72. You could see a 10x to potentially a 50x out of QNT. Anywhere in that range is possible here. Look at that, nice bounce, right? Had a pullback, having a nice bounce here. You get a 10x in QNT. I know a lot of people saying, oh, you should have 100, 200, 300 QNT. Anytime I talk about projects on the channel, I talk about their a realistic amount that anyone could afford, right? So 10 QNT right now is $717. I think anyone could afford that. That's realistic. So then you get a 10x out of QNT. You make $10,000 at 1K per QNT. With 10 QNT, you can make $10,000. $10,000 is a lot to invest, right? Or a lot of ROI, I should say. You make from $717, you make 10K, $10,000, right? And then all of a sudden you could de-risk 50% of your holdings, 30% of your holdings, hold the rest for the long term in QNT, and then you could take that the profits that you make and reinvest, you know, in other undervalued projects or bigger market cap projects, majors, you know, because that's how you compound your gains. You know, you don't have to get the life-changing trade in one coin. Crypto has endless opportunities. That's what I've noticed, right? That's what I've taken notice of in my time of being in the space, right? So I'm just speaking to people that have smaller portfolios. It's up to you, man, because there's people that have, you know, all the projects I cover, there's people that are, you know, have a lot more invested in these projects, and, you know, this will be probably like their final trade or their final investment for the space, and nothing's wrong with that. But there's people that are new to the space or people that have smaller portfolios, I think could work their way up and compound their gains, right? So everything is having a pretty nice bounce today. Let's take a look at XLM. Everything's having a pretty nice bounce today. You love to see it. XLM is up 5% as well. Everything's having a nice bounce today. Great stuff. And it's a Monday too. Typically Mondays are pretty bad, right? So that is fantastic. If you're tuning into the stream right now, please be sure to like the stream. Leave a like on the stream. I'd appreciate it, guys. 8 concurrent viewers. All 8 of y'all need to like the stream. You know, drop a comment. You know, say something. Say hello. Say what's up to me. Banker 204 having a nice little bounce as well too. Everything's having a nice bounce today. So I'm, like I said, I'm gonna keep an eye on things. Let me close out Telegram. I don't know if the notifications will keep popping up, but so I'm gonna keep an eye on things here. Bitcoin. Okay, it's not gonna pop up. Let me go dark for a second if you guys don't mind. Let me close out Telegram. All the notifications I get. Where is it here? Let me end this task here. Okay. So like I said, we're in fear right now, and like I was saying in previous videos, extreme fear was a good time to DCA. And if you are DCAing in extreme fear, your portfolio is doing pretty okay. Honestly, everything is up from extreme fear that I've covered on the channel. QNT, XCN, ZBCN, Quant, everything is up. Monad is up from extreme fear. Banker, everything's up from extreme fear, right? So who's going to win the battle? Is it going to be the bears or the bulls? Who's going to be victorious? Are the bears going to, reject us at 80K? Are we going to get rejected at 80K once Bitcoin makes a move to 75 to 80K? Will we get rejected and, roll over to 50K, 60K, 45K? Or will we keep pushing? Because if we keep pushing, then everyone will have to change their TA and figure out what happens next. Because if we push above 80K, go to 90K, all of a sudden, all the TA guys, all the TA experts are going to have to figure out, well, what's going to happen for the rest of the year. I personally think, like I said, I think we bottom in the summer. I think we're going to push above 80K. And then, we make a move to 100K. And then the bottom is going to be around 55 to 60K. It's not going to drop to 45. I think the bottom is going to be 50 to 60K. That's what I think personally. Now, I could be wrong. We're going to bottom in the summer, though. That's what I think. And that's when we're going to, be at the end of all the terrible market conditions. And then if you have eyes to the ground, you're paying attention, things are going to get super easy for crypto again. I'll finally start getting more views, I hope. And it's going to be a lot easier to trade these markets. So if you're tuning in right now, please leave a like on the stream. I see we have 8 concurrent viewers. Feel free to talk to me in the chat as well. I have my chat open here. Feel free to, give any opinions, any comments that you have. I'm open. But yeah, XCN is having a nice bounce. QNT having a nice bounce. ZBCN, everything's having a nice bounce here in the past 24 hours. It's pretty awesome to see, guys. It's really awesome to see. Excuse me. So, for me, I'm just gonna be doing quick streams. Nothing too insane, nothing too exotic. QNT having a very strong move as well. It had a pullback after the Robinhood listing. QNT getting listed on Robinhood is fantastic news as well. Like I said, guys, when you have projects that are listed on Robinhood, Coinbase, Binance, which QNT is listed on, Bybit as well, it is the first place retail investors buy their crypto. So you want to be positioned before retail interest comes back to the space, before the retail investors come back, or I should say new people to crypto, new participants. You want to be positioned for the new participants. You want to be positioned before they arrive and DCA the projects that you're bullish on, you have conviction on, because the first place they're going to buy, and they're more than likely going to be FOMOing into green candles. Human psychology is not defeated in crypto. They're going to be FOMOing into green candles. That's when you start taking some profits off the board, right? So QNT listing on Robinhood proves that, hey, this team is still being very legitimate and still building here, because a Robinhood listing is nothing to scoff at. It's not. It's not. It really is not. So the team, Gilbert Verdian, is definitely dedicated, and the community is dedicated as well. ZBCN having a nice bounce today. Look at that bounce that they had. 7% up. Fantastic move here. Pretty great to see. Salute. What's up, Battle Rap Junkie? Thanks for tuning into the live stream. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you all like the stream that are tuning in. ZBCN having a nice bounce. Can't ignore this bounce, man. You can't. I just mentioned Banker. Let's take a look at Banker and Claude and Robot Money. All the projects that I recently covered in the AI agent video. If you can, anyone that's tuning into the live stream right now, I would really appreciate if you show support to the video that I recently made with AI agent projects in the top 5. I think will do extremely well. That could potentially 10 to 50x, even maybe 100x, right? Go show support to this video right here. Maybe I share the link in the chat. Give it a like, share it with your friends, family, co-workers. It really helps the channel out. Let's take a look at okay, so we were just taking a look at Banker. Again, I think a million Banker is gonna do pretty well, man. I really do think so. And if we take a look at Deck Screener now, let's go to Deck Screener. Let's take a look at Claude. Okay, let's take a look at Claude first. What's Claude doing right now? Claude having an 8% bounce. Okay, pretty nice. Claude is having an 8% bounce. A lot of people might be like, oh, this is, this project might be over. I think it's a good opportunity here. A couple $100, even just $100 in the Claude here, could potentially get a 10x to 50x, $100 to 1,000 to 5K. That's great upside, in my opinion. Claude on X here, 17,000 followers on X. Cypherpunk mode engaged, built a ZK proof layer through Axe Venice. Wow. Pay on-chain generator no proof locally with Venice's T protocol. And I just talked about that in today's Venice video. That's crazy. So ZK is zero knowledge proofs, meaning, unlocking the ultimate privacy protocol, right? Using the ultimate technology when it comes to privacy, use ZK, zero knowledge proofs. Okay, so that's Claude there. Let's take a look at Nookplot. Nookplot also had a nice bounce. Nookplot sitting at 1.8 million. Again, I'm never telling anyone to overinvest. Even just $100, $200-300 into Nookplot here. A 10x very possible, 18 mil market cap, 20x, 30x. Take profits on the way up. Take a look at X for Nookplot. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. He bought all of them. Battle Rap bought all of them. Like, never invest money willing to lose, guys. Josh, I don't have a top 3 favorite crypto. I'll be honest. I personally, there's so many projects that I like, so I don't have like a top 3. I love to invest in my top 3 favorite. See, with the thing is, like, when people look to me as like, oh, he's invested in this, so I should invest in it. I personally don't think that's the way to go. I bring projects to the channel. You're supposed to do your own research and then make your decisions based on that, right? After you research something, you formulate your own conviction and you be like, okay, I like this, right? Could XCN reach 5 cents on its release day? Now, Uyghur, or Uyghur? How do you pronounce that? As far as price predictions, I'm not sure if it'll have that move on its release date. Uyghur, will it hit 5 cents on a long enough time horizon, medium term to long term? Definitely has the possibility to do so. But crypto is all about patience. 5 cents for XCN, very, very, very possible. So Noteplot right here, doing pretty good with their updates. They have the rewards agents, network smarter, proof of commons, not proof of work. Great stuff here with Noteplot. Great stuff, great updates. Take a look at Robot Money here. Let's see. Robot Money up 26%. Pretty good stuff. Wow. Okay. Robot Money doing pretty well, pretty good as well. See, so okay, so they're doing buybacks with Robot Money now. 10 buybacks executed. Wow, okay. Protocol executes, the receipts are public. The buyback tracker is now live. Okay. Pretty awesome stuff. So let's also take a look at I covered Felix as well. And I already talked about Banker. I think Felix, very undervalued as well. These projects are more high risk, high reward. These are on base chain. But I think, you see what happened. My thesis remains, and I think my thesis will stand. My thesis remains that I think base chain, you guys saw what happened on Solana, right? Let's take a look at Solana. You see what happened with Bonk and Popcat, Dog with Hat, etc. I talked about Bonk on one of my, channels. My Crypto Spaces Clips channel was previously where I talked about other projects, and I mentioned Bonk in one of my videos there, around 10 to 20 mil market cap, and it went all the way up to 4 billion market cap. I even didn't think it'd go that high. I'll be honest. I didn't think that. So what happened with Solana and how, the Solana ecosystem exploded? People had less than $5,000 and they made 6 to 7 figures by just picking the right meme coins at the time, especially when it was still fresh and new. Now it's oversaturated. Now it's over diluted. So it's extremely more difficult to pull that off now, right? But I think Base is going to recreate that, and it's going to be AI or AI agents, right? And you're going to see AI projects on Base chain go to billions of market cap. So you just have to position yourself early for that wave. I really think that's what's going to happen. So you see, like, Bonk went to 4 billion market cap. Dog with Hat, went to, how high did this go to? almost 5 bill market cap from nothing. I remember people bought, dog with had around a million market cap, and if you held it from a million market cap up to 5 billion market cap, what is that? A 50,000 X? Something crazy like that, Popcat as well, Mog. Yeah, so 2024 was, a real moment in time to like 100x your portfolio. You start with a small portfolio and, make life-changing money. Popcat went to 2 billion market cap. What else did well? Mog. I know a lot of people like the Mog. Obviously, Pepe did well also. Went to 10 to 12 billion market cap. So, Pepe was around, basically nothing. But it was sideways around 2 to 400 mil market cap. It was sideways there for a while. And then it went all the way up to like 10, 12 billion market cap. Oh, this is Mog I'm looking at right now. So Mog went to 1.5 billion market cap from nothing again. Pepe went to 10 to 12 billion market cap, right? So I think the same thing is going to potentially happen here with base chain projects. I think base is going to take a lot of that Solana liquidity. I think base chain is going to be the place where people with smaller portfolios could recreate what happened on Solana in 2024, but with use case this time, right? Because these AI projects have utility, they have use case. They're doing buybacks, they're generating revenue, right? Banker is generating revenue. Banker made $8 million, guys. That's crazy to think about. That Banker made $8 million. So Battle Rap saying Juno AI agent is a good one to look at. Jeff Bezos from Amazon follows the owner. I look into that, Battle Rap. Thanks for that suggestion. XRP will be $10,000 in 5 years. Mark my words. People think this price is a joke. Josh, XRP, I could never talk down on XRP anymore, Josh. Like, honestly. XRP, I can never talk down on it. 99% of altcoins did nothing this bull cycle. They did nothing. If anything, they bled against Bitcoin. What did XRP do? XRP did a 10x from its bear market lows, right? I can never say anything bad about XRP ever again. I will never say anything bad about XRP ever again. A 10x from its bear market lows when projects like Polkadot, look at Polkadot. It made a new low, right? Polkadot made a new low. What is that? Atom or Cosmos made a new low. Oh my gosh. Phantom or Sonic made a new low. And these were supposed to be, the great altcoins, right? VeChain. Remember VeChain, man? Made a new low. What else? Give me more projects, man. What is a good one? VRA. I know a lot of people like VRA. VRA made a new low, right? XRP went 10x. Can't ever say XRP. I can't ever say anything bad about XRP ever again. Ever again. So if you're tuning into the live stream, man, like the stream. I really appreciate it. Like the stream, man. But again, I think, like I said, with so that's my two sectors I'm looking at: RWA / ISO compliant projects. So let's take a look at ISO compliance right here, because there's projects that are gonna benefit from regulatory compliance, right? The SEC already ruled XRP is a commodity, right? So like I said, I think people are gonna speculate. I think people are gonna speculate on undervalued projects as XRP continues to grow. You potentially see $10 to $20 to $30 of XRP in the future as time progresses, and XRP is officially, classified as a digital commodity. And I think, ISO compliant projects are going to be very successful as XRP is like the main leader of this sector. And regulatory compliant projects will do extremely well. So I'm talking XLMs, HBAR, QNT, ZBCN, XPR. Because there's not much XDC network, Flare. There's not much, ISO compliant projects here, right? So when institutions start, speculating on XRP, I wouldn't be surprised you see BlackRock put in a buy on XRP. Imagine BlackRock buys XRP. I'm telling you, this sector of projects, Chainlink, Cardano, they're gonna have like the ripple effect, because people are gonna speculate. Oh man, XRP's at what? $30? Yo, what could I buy that could pull an XRP? Oh, XCN, ZBCN, quant. You know, that's my thesis, right? So it's ISO compliant projects or RWA projects and AI agents or AI projects, because you know Tau is doing extremely well. I haven't really seen much from Fed and Render, but you know, AI projects, AI agent projects, base chain, and ISO compliant projects. I think those are the two sectors I'm going to focus on for my channel. That's just me, right? That's just where I'm going with that. So if you're tuning into the stream, like the stream. If you have anything else you want to say, you know, you could chat with me. I'm here. I'll probably be closing out the stream in a bit. So let me get those, you know, let me get those comments, those replies. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'd love to see it. So market today, it's Monday, but altcoins are showing a lot more strength against Bitcoin. ZBCN, man, I'm very impressed with that ZBCN bounce that we're having here. Look at that, man. Nice bounce. Very nice bounce. So yeah, I don't think anyone else. Thank you for the live. Hey, thank you so much, Derek. Appreciate the support. Oh, Derek, y'all, you're in my Discord. Shout out to you, man. Doing my best, man. I'm like I said, no paywall here. I'm gonna do my best. I want to just trade publicly and show you guys, you know, you can make it from spot trading crypto. It's possible to spot trade and make it, because again, 90% of people in the space lose money. It's only 10% that actually make money or are successful, right? So I'm doing my best to tailor my channel to show you guys, hey, it's possible. You just have to be as strategic as you can, man. Because remember, every time you make money in the space, someone else is losing money. So you're competing against other people every time you win, right? So this is why you have to be as strategic as possible, and you have to try to be your best, right? You know, Venice, for example, spoke about Venice. Venice doing very well here. Venice doing very well. I wouldn't be surprised we see $20 per Venice. I spoke about Venice on the channel at $1.40. It got no views. 50 views. 50 views, guys. Crazy. Obviously, I could, you know, toss in Monad there. I think Monad is going to be a great L1. See Monad having a bounce right now too, right? I think Monad is going to be a fantastic L1. I've traded on their ecosystem. It's pretty fun. Great culture, great community as well. So I'm telling you, you don't have to buy everything I talk about. You just have to do your own research and be like, okay, I have conviction on this. I see where he's heading with this, or I see the idea behind the project. I see the team. I see the community, etc. I might toss something at this and see what happens. And then if you're up 5x to 10x to 15x, 20x, etc., you take some profits. It's that simple. You take profits into stable coins. USDC is if I'm gonna say something that's favorite to me, USDC stable coin is my favorite. That's my favorite. USDC stable coin. You take some of those profits into USDC, and obviously majors as well, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, right, Solana, and you know, you just continue to do that, compound your gains as you're in the crypto space. Then when markets get bullish again, you've already trained yourself to because look, I see it a lot. I've seen it a lot. I fall victim to it. When you don't practice your profit taking and you don't manage your risk, you may make a ton of money, and because you didn't practice your profit taking and managing your risk, you may make a mistake, and then all of a sudden you take way less profits than you should have, right? So you have to train yourself to do it now. Learn from other people's mistakes. Learn from my mistakes, right? Don't just be moon boy. Don't just think, okay, I'm gonna make it with this one coin and that's it. Crypto has a world of opportunities, but I'm never gonna tell you, hey, sell all of your coins, right? Words to live by, exactly. Never sell all of your coins. So say, for example, you're up 10x on ZBCN or XCN. You take some profits, and then you leave in that, you know, a percentage there for the long term, like 2 years out, 3 years out. But then you still have to pay yourself, right? So again, nice bounce today in the altcoins. Again, I'm gonna keep you guys updated as best I can. Gonna end the live stream off here. Truly appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. like the stream, leave a like, share the video, share it with your friends, family, co-workers. I'm doing my best here. Like I said, I just want to see everyone that subscribed to me win. I think we need more winners in crypto, less scams, less grifters, less insiders. You know, we need more people that are retail investors, buy low, sell high, spot trading, right? Buy low, sell high, right? And people change their lives doing that. I think we need more of that. So that's how I'm focused. That's how I'm trying to build my channel here and doing my best to build my channel here. So as always, none of this is financial advice. Like the videos, subscribe to the channel, follow me on X, subscribe to my Clips channel as well. It really helps out when you subscribe to the Clips channel. A lot of people are confused about the Clips channel. So the Clips channel is, I take, you know, a portion or a nice segment from my videos, and then I just, you know, make them into short form content on the Clips channel, you know, just so you guys, so people could, you know, if they don't have a lot of time to watch the full video, they could watch the clip, right? Then they go back to the full video when they have time, right? So thank y'all so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Really appreciate all the support, truly.